There are some rumblings of a severe weather outbreak towards the end of the month, so we're going to talk about it. What's going on, guys? Certified meteorologist Jonathan Keg is back with you. In this video, we are going to break that down. I had a lot of questions about it in the last video in the comment section, so we're going to touch on that a little bit, and then we're going to update you on the next system that's going to be sweeping across the country into the Mid-Atlantic, Northeast, and into parts of Southeast Canada as well, closer to Montreal and the Canadian Maritimes. We'll break that down. A little bit of snow coming your way, and then we'll touch on, again, the long-range pattern. Blowtorch sets up to close February and start March. Again, winter's pretty much dead. We highlighted that in our last video. You can check that out. I'll have that card at the end of this video. Before we get into it, I would love to know what the weather is doing where you're tuning in from. Post your report in the comments if you happen to find this content helpful as well. Hit that thumbs up button for me. Small ask, but it really does help us out a lot. And if you want to stay updated on all things weather, we'd love to have you on board here. Hit that subscribe button. Would love it if you hang around. All right, we're going to start with the severe weather side because I'm getting a lot of questions about it. And then we're going to transition into that system that could bring some snow to part of the Northeast. New York City, Boston, we're out of luck on this one. This is going to be interior and elevation based. All right, so here we go. This is going to be the Euro pattern. We are fast forwarding all the way to Monday, February 26th. So again, timestamp up at the top here. And this is the dip in the jet stream that is in question here. We're looking at the 500 millibar chart here, about 15 to 20,000 feet above your head. And you see we do have something out there. This is going to be February 28th. This is the Euro model, by the way. I'll show you the GFS in just one second. But there you go. There's our dip coming out of the Rockies and into parts of Texas. So we'd be looking for the potential for some increased thunderstorm activity here and then sliding up into the Mid-Atlantic region over that couple of day stretch, February 28th, 29th, and then March 1st into that time frame. So that is the ballpark we are looking at. At first glance here, maybe the higher potential is going to be towards the Mid-Atlantic again for some severe weather. Maybe not outbreak potential at this point, but the reason being we don't have this thing crazy negatively tilted. And I'll show you what negatively tilted is. That's when you have the trough right here. It's kind of oriented north to south. Negatively tilted is like this when the trough is going back from northwest to the south and east. Again, it maximizes the difference in temperature and it helps to really get the severe weather threat going. So we have a little bit of that right here, at least from the jet energy. Nonetheless, this kind of quickly, though, lifts back up. So we're going to watch if that would slow down at all. When that happens, it might have the opportunity, again, to tilt negative. GFS, I want to show you this because I have some analogs to kind of compare this to that kind of spit out some information on what past weather patterns would suggest for the opportunity for severe weather, again, way down the line. So this is on Wednesday, February 28th, and you see here we have a positively tilted trough. Now, you can still get severe weather with positive tilt in the upper levels of our atmosphere, but certainly that threat level is maximized whenever it's oriented in that direction. So let's take this out a little bit further. Would still be watching for the potential for some thunderstorms here on the 28th into the 29th. Notice that this is a little bit slower. Here we go. Still, we have that positive or that neutral to kind of positive tilt working its way through the southeast and then eventually kind of blasting off and then eventually turning negative. So that's what that orientation is right there as it moves off the east coast of the United States. So point blank is, I think a lot of the chatter you might be seeing on social media, there's certainly going to be the potential for some stronger thunderstorms if this pattern holds, but I don't think at this point anyway it looks outbreaky. We're going to keep on watching it nonetheless. I want to show you, though, the analogs because they do point to some kind of severe weather happening as we get into a week out. So this is going to be on the 27th, on the February 27th, and you see here the analog shows that we have a 15% shot. Again, there's the bar on the side indicating the potential, again, for severe weather. You have 90% in the purple. We're nowhere near that, of course, but and that would hardly ever happen, by the way. But you see it right there. That's where we have the opportunity anyway from north central Texas and Oklahoma into Arkansas, into Missouri as we get into that 27th, 28th time frame. Now, the next day, this is going to be a week out. This is going to be February 28th into the 29th. You see that little bullseye there of potential anyway. And we're going to keep on visiting this. We're going to keep on looking to see how the analogs change with the different upper level pattern evolution that we have. Again, we're still a long way away, but I normally wouldn't talk about something this far out, but I had a lot of questions on it, and there is a lot of craziness out there on the internet. So I just wanted to break this down meteorologically to kind of give you a sense of what is going on. Again, don't want to hype that. You don't find that here. So again, that's what we're talking about. I just want to kind of give it to you straight with some of the meteorology and science behind that. So there you go. We're watching for the potential for some strong storms. Would not call it an outbreak at this point. All right, on to the system that is actually going to be happening before that, but I wanted to touch on that, kind of a countrywide view. Let me get my head out of the way here, and we can see some higher elevation snow into the Rockies, parts of Wyoming, north of Denver, into Utah as well. We have the kind of the last gas of our series of atmospheric rivers out on the west coast for us into Portland, closer to Vancouver, San Francisco, Los Angeles. That kind of fizzles out, but a piece of that works its way east, and this is going to be our next thing. Again, a puny system in terms of snow especially, but there it is as it works its way across the country, and you clearly see where the snow is going to be focusing on. Now, we mentioned about some snow in southern Canada, east of Toronto, closer to Montreal and Quebec. The pieces are kind of, there's one up here and there's one here. We would need these two to connect again. The updated model guidance, again, disconnects those two pieces so it's not pulled back towards us. So we're going to be watching for that evolution as well. But nonetheless, we still have the opportunity for some snow in upstate New York, maybe in far northwestern Massachusetts, and then into Maine. With the lack of that kind of extra injection of energy, if you will, that little push of energy, that little oomph, if you will, the snow goes down. So we told you about this yesterday, that there was going to be the opportunity for some snow. The numbers are much, much higher as we showed you. We talked about, though, that we would likely see some changes through the week, and here are some of the changes. Still some snow in the same spots, but much, much lower. Again, we're going to be watching to see if those two upper-level pieces come back together to give us a little bit of extra snow in those areas. Again, we talked about this in a previous video, and you can watch that video. I'll put that towards the end of the video. You can check that out if you wish. About winter is basically over for most of the country. So here we stand on the 22nd. This video is being recorded on February 21st, but this is a day out. I want to give you kind of a little bit of a forecast, and where you see all this red and yellow and orange, that is above normal temperatures. Watch what happens. And again, that's all relative to normal. The scale is up top, and I'll point that out in a little bit. Look at that as we head towards the 26th, 27th, 28th. This is what I meant earlier in the video by the blowtorch coming through. Look at all that purple and pink. Again, we're maxing out the scale. That's 30 degrees plus Fahrenheit above normal. So that means if your average is 45, it's going to be 75, maybe even 80 degrees. So, I mean, we're talking about a huge deal, big warm up here to end February. And again, that extra warmth kind of surging up from the Gulf is no doubt going to fuel the opportunity for the storms there. So again, that potential's here. Also, again, if you're living in Reno, LA, Albuquerque, for us in the West, in Montana, we do have a little bit of cold air. And again, that's going to be that dip in the jet stream coming down to help us get the warmth in the east and then bring that cooler air back to the western side of the United States. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Again, if you found this video helpful, hit that thumbs up button. We're going to continue to watch the evolution of both of these systems here. Again, it's nothing crazy in interior New England, but it's a little something if you're rooting for some snow. Again, nothing major. And again, we're going to have our eyes on how that upper level pattern comes into fruition here for the potential for some strong storms. I wouldn't get too crazy just yet if you're in those areas that we kind of highlighted there. The potential is going to be there for some strong storms. The threat level, though, that remains to be seen. We have to watch that work its way off the Pacific and then rolling through the deep south and mid-Atlantic. Thank you guys so much. We'll catch you soon.